Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is the 30th class, and in the last class, we have already started with the introduction to server-side development. This is chapter number 8 according to the textbook. What we have to study in this server-side scripting is we have to study PHP programming language for writing our server-side script. When I gave you introduction to what is the meaning of server-side script, I gave you first I differentiated between client-side script and server-side script. In simple terms, client-side script is the one which executes on the client's machine. Uh, Client-side script is something which executes on the client's machine. The programming language or the scripting language which we use to execute programs on the client's machine is JavaScript. So JavaScript is used basically for client-side scripting. What is server-side script? Programs that execute on the server are called as server-side scripts. And which languages do we use to write server-side scripts? We use PHP. And then I gave you some examples yesterday that if we don't use PHP, then we can make use of JSP or ASP or ASP.NET. We can also use Python. We can use Ruby on Rails. So these are different competitor technologies of PHP which can be used on the server side. And we are learning PHP as part of this subject. We started learning PHP. I told you a few things about PHP, how PHP gets executed. Okay. Basically, what is the difference between client-side script execution? This is how client-side execution happens, and this is how server-side execution happens. This we have discussed it yesterday. Then what is capable? What is PHP capable of doing? It is capable of doing database connectivity. It can access web services. It can do file management system. It can do emails. It can send email. It can send SMS, and it can also use other software. Okay, so this is the capabilities of PHP. Comparing server-side technologies, then I told you that we have ASP, ASP.NET, Node.js, PHP, all these are server-side scripts. And one more thing I told you that if, let us say, you are using PHP for writing your server-side scripts, then the web server software should be WAMP. If you are using ASP to be your server-side script, then the web server on which you have to host, the web server on which you are planning to keep your files should be IIS, Internet Information Server. So for different server-side scripting languages, there are different server softwares that you have to install in your machine. Otherwise, they will not get executed. Your machine will not act as a server if you don't install the appropriate server, the relevant server. If I'm writing PHP code and if I want my laptop to behave as a web server, then I have to install WAMP on my computer. Okay. Then we saw how much part of the world is, how much part of the web pages in the world today are using PHP and all that. What are the responsibilities of the web server? I told you all that, And then important is how PHP files get executed. Yeah, this is important. How PHP file gets executed is, first of all, you have something called as the PHP document. Then it is first lexical analyzer happens, then it parses. Then the compiler will compile the code to check and then converts it into a bytecode. And then the bytecode is given to the executor for execution. So basically this, all these steps you have to explain if there is a question in examination as to how PHP files are executed. Okay, there is this question in the assignment, so please mind it. Then installing Apache and PHP MySQL, I told you that you have to download that WAMP server file, and after you have downloaded that WAMP server file, you have to install it. It is not big. I think I showed you yesterday that it was something like 20 or 22 MB file. After you have installed WAMP or XAMPP in your machine, then there will be a folder created in the C drive. If you have installed WAMP, WAMP folder will be installed. If you have installed XAMPP, both of them are almost same. XAMPP folder will be created in the C drive. So you have to keep your HTML documents and your PHP documents in the C drive. You have to keep it in the C drive in a folder called as XAMPP, in a folder called as htdocs. Okay, so that is where you have to keep your HTML and PHP pages. And then how do you request that? You open the browser. First of all, you have to start the server. Then you have to open the browser, and in the browser you have to enter localhost / then you have to simply put the name of the file that you want to request. Yesterday we saw that example. A quick tour of PHP. Now this is what you're going to start today. This is new. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. What is PHP and how do we write PHP? Remember that PHP is a server-side scripting language, which means that it is executable code. The server is capable of running PHP. It is executable code. PHP executes. Okay, there are lines of code that we write and it executes on the client, on the server. It executes on the server. How do we write? Where do we write PHP? The first question is, where do we write PHP? We write PHP embedded between HTML tags. Now you will have a question, like last time when we had written JavaScript, that also we had written it in between HTML tags. So do we need to write even PHP between HTML tags? Yes, of course, you have to write even PHP between HTML tags. Okay, now look at this example here. In this, you will come to know, in this example here, from here to here, you will see that whatever is in red color is PHP code, whatever is in red color is PHP code, and whatever is in black color is HTML. Okay, so you can see that wherever PHP is put, it is always put between these delimiters. Okay, so you have a less than sign, you have a question mark, then you have a PHP written, PHP, followed by some statements of PHP. Okay, now by the way, this line here actually declares a variable called as user. Okay, and I initialize this variable user with a value called as Randy. Okay, all variables in PHP are prefixed with a dollar symbol. So dollar user is the name of the variable, is equals to Randy. This is the value that I assign to this variable. That's it. So this is my one statement, and all statements in PHP end with a semicolon. So you can see there is a semicolon at the end of the statement. Similarly, here you can see PHP again starts. These are called as the delimiters. These are called as the delimiters. This actually marks the beginning of a PHP code, and this here ends the. This actually marks the end of the PHP code. So whatever PHP code you are writing, you should write between this starting delimiter and the end of delimiter. This is called as a delimiter. This marks the beginning of the PHP, and this marks the end of the PHP. Similarly, here you can see that this marks the beginning of the PHP and this marks the end of the PHP. In between, what you have is PHP code. There can be one line of code or there can be multiple lines of code like this. You can see there is one statement here, ends with a semicolon. Another statement ends with a semicolon. Another statement ends with a semicolon. Okay. Now see exactly how the web server runs this. Now this page, if it contains any PHP code, you are supposed to compulsorily save the file with extension .php. If your HTML code in between you write even a single line of PHP, you have to save the program with extension .php. You have to always save it with extension .php. Now when you type your program and you save it on the server, you have to save it with extension .php. Now look at this. When you look at this, you will know that there is a little bit part of HTML in the program and there is a little bit of PHP. All the HTML which is there in the program, the server will not do anything to it because the server will not handle HTML. It will simply send it to the client's machine. The HTML part of this page will be sent to the client's machine as it is. So what will go to the browser is this doc type HTML, body tag will go as it is, H1 will go as it is, welcome message which is into the H1 tag will go to the client's machine as it is. Now the server will encounter a PHP code here. When the server will encounter a PHP code here, it executes this line of code. The server, before it sends this line of code, it executes this and it sends it. What is there in this line to execute? There is nothing. What we are trying to say is that echo means display, print. Echo, print is one and the same. When I say echo or print, whatever is to be printed, the server sends it to the client's machine. The server sends it to the client's machine. Okay, so along with this welcome, this user also will get displayed. Whatever is the value of this user, that is Randy, will get displayed. Then P tag will go to the client's machine as it is. The server time will also go to the client's machine as it is because the server will send. And again, the server will find that in this program, there is a little bit more PHP code. So the server will execute this. It will say echo strong. Echo strong means it will send whatever is in these double quotes to the server as it is. So the tag strong goes to the client's machine. Then echo date. Date is a built-in function of PHP which will display current date and time of the server. Date is a built-in function which will display current date and time of the server. So I echo that. I send this date and time. I determine the date and time in PHP and I send it to the client's machine so that the client displays it. Then again, I echo the closing tag of strong. So it goes to the client's machine as it is. So I hope you understood. What we do in PHP is that we write a little bit of PHP code, we write a little bit of HTML code. I can write more PHP, then more HTML. Then again, I write a little bit of more PHP, and then I write HTML, and finally, I complete my page. What is important to understand here is the HTML part of your page is sent to the client machine as it is. The server will not do anything to it. It will simply send it as it is to the client's machine. And you know that on the client's machine, there is a browser which is capable of displaying or rendering HTML. The PHP part which is there in this file, the server executes that. If there is some arithmetical instructions like x is equals to y plus 10, it will execute that. It will perform the addition of the two variables and put the result into x. And then whatever processing you want to do with the variable, it does that. And then finally, if you want to print that or send that to the client's machine, you say print x, print $x actually, because in PHP, variables are declared with a prefix of $. So we'll understand more about this slowly, but right now I want you people to understand that PHP code is embedded between HTML. And whenever you want to start writing PHP, you have to always start with this delimiter, write the PHP code and end it with this delimiter. This is how it will come to the browser. This is how it will come to the browser. Why I told you that? Till here to here, from here to here, doc type HTML from here to here, you can see that it is here to here. And then what is Randy here? Randy is the name of the variable. It is the name of the variable because $user is defined as a variable and in which I'm keeping the value Randy here. So the value of the variable will get substituted there after welcome. So it will appear there. And then the server time is all the way from here to here. P tag, the server time is, you can see P tag, the server time is will come as it is, P tag, the server time is will come as it is. After that, the strong tag will come. Then the current date and time of the server will come and the /strong tag, because you can see that it first sends to the client what? The strong tag, then the date and time, and then the closing of the strong tag. So you can see that. And then the P tag is over, the body tag is over, and the HTML tag is over. So basically, this is what is sent to the browser, to the client's machine. Because the server will execute PHP and it will put the value of that variable here. It will put the current date and time of the server here. And from here to here, it will send this output to the client's machine. And the browser receives this on the client's machine means the browser has requested this PHP page. So the browser will receive this and the browser is capable of displaying HTML. The browser is capable of displaying HTML. Okay, so that is how it is. Now, how do we place comments in PHP? Let us say I want to put comments in PHP. How do I put that? We use 2 forward slashes to put comments in PHP. So this is one example given here. PHP, this is for database connectivity. MySQLi, localhost, DB user, password, and the database name. This is a little advanced version of, I don't know why suddenly this appeared here. Let us go further and try to do some simple programs of PHP, single line comments and multiple line comments. Do you know what is the meaning of a comment? A comment is something which is ignored by the runtime environment. So if you have a PHP and if that line of PHP is prefixed with a hash symbol, if it is prefixed with a hash symbol, it is considered as a comment and it will not get executed. Okay, so I'm not going to go into too much of detail because you know what is the meaning of comments. This is a single line comment. If you put a hash symbol, it will comment only that particular line. If you want to put multiple line comments, then you start with a forward slash and a star. So after that, whatever comes will be treated as comments till you put a star and backslash. Forward slash and star marks the beginning of a multi-line comment. Star and backslash represents the end of the multi-line comment. Okay, so this is about comments and all that. So please go through this and you will understand it is not very difficult. So you can see there is an example. This is a single line comment which is followed by, which is prefixed with a hash. Only this line is commented. If I want to have multi-line, I want to start here. So forward slash and then let us say, if I put a hash here, then this also will get commented, but hash is not put. So this is an executable code line. It is an executable line of code. Again, if I want to put comment somewhere, then I put two forward slashes here. Two forward slashes I put. Then you know that two forward slashes also can be used to put a comment. Basically, this is an example. Now next, after, because I'm not wasting much time, I'm just zooming through this because this is all self-explanatory. If you read once, you will understand yourself. How do we declare variables, data types, and constants in PHP? Let us see that. In PHP, variables are always prefixed with a dollar symbol. We have dollar followed by some string variable is equals to 42, which now, you know, when you write dollar count is equals to 42, you have actually declared a variable whose name is count, and you have initialized it with a value of 42. So 42 is kept into the variable count. So dollar count is equals to 42. So 42 is kept in that variable. Dollar is always used. You cannot declare a variable count only. Dollar has to be there. Okay, all variables in PHP should be prefixed with a dollar symbol. Okay, to declare a variable, you must preface the variable name with a dollar. That is what is written there. Okay, and which are the different types of data types that PHP can handle? It can handle Boolean, and you know what is the meaning of a Boolean. So Boolean is something which will always either be a true or a false. What is integer? Integers are whole numbers without a fractional part. Float is another type of a data type that is handled by PHP. It is a data with decimal points. Strings is a sequence of characters. Arrays is collection of elements. Elements can be of any data type. Then object is an instance of a class and all that. So we will see them one by one later on. So what it means by these data types is that I can declare a variable in PHP which can store Boolean value in it. I can declare a variable which can store integer value into it. I can declare a variable which can store float, string value, arrays into it, and even objects into it. So I can declare variables to store all these different types of data. So those are the PHP data types. Then you have this string escape sequences. What is the meaning of escape sequences? In your string, if you have \n, it is treated as a new line character. In a PHP, if you have a \n, it is treated as a new line character. \t is a tab character. Two backslashes is a backslash, dollar is dollar, and a double quotes is double quotes. This is normally put into a string. If you want your string to contain a new line character, then you put \n. If you want your string to contain a tab space, then you put \t. If you want your string to contain a backslash, you put two backslashes, and so on. Okay, escape sequences we have studied in other programming languages. Then comes PHP constants. How to declare constants in PHP? You know what is the meaning of a constant? Constant is something which will not change its value during the course of execution of the program. Okay, constants are something which will not change its value during the course of execution of the program. How do we define constants in PHP? Very simple. We write define into bracket. We write down the name of the constant into double quotes, comma, and then the value that we want to assign to it, and the value that I want to assign to it. So if I have a constant called as database local, then I put into it the value localhost. If I want to declare a constant called as database name, then I put the value art stored into that, and so on. Okay, this is how we declare. We use the define keyword to define constants in a PHP program. What do we have here? We have variables, $artist1, $artist2, artist3, 4, and 5. So we have declared 5 variables here, and we have put these values into these variables. And this is in PHP tags, so this is PHP code. That's it. So this is an example of declaring 5 variables and initializing them with some values. Okay. For loop, I think we will study about for loop later on. Writing to output. Yeah. Now, how do we display something in PHP? Remember, like if I want to print something, or if I want to display something in PHP, I use the echo command. Echo command I use, echo function I use, or I can use the print function. Print function and echo function are one and the same. They are used for printing or writing to the output. When something is printed from PHP, remember it is not exactly, it doesn't get displayed on the server machine, but rather it is sent, whatever is there in double quotes is sent to the client's machine, which is received by the browser, and the browser displays it on the browser, on its interface. When I say echo hello, it sends the string hello to the client's machine, and the client's machine, the browser takes it and displays it. So echo or print means the server sends this string to the client. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so echo is used for printing something, for sending something to the client's machine, browser to display. Print is also used for the same thing. Okay. So if I have if I have a variable called as first name Pablo and then last name is Picasso, there are two variables, first name, last name, and then if I say echo first name, echo last name, then it will display to me on the browser the names of these two, the names of whatever is there in these variables. So let us take an example and see this. So to run this example, what I need to do is I need to first start my WAMP server. So I start that. I start my WAMP server. So you can see here in my taskbar, it is running. You can see it is running there, my WAMP server. And once it is running, then what I do is I open Sublime Text and I want to type my program there. Okay, let us say that I want to call my program as testing.php. This is the same program which we had written yesterday. So I have PHP there written and then print hello. I don't want to print it directly. Rather, I want to declare variables. Okay, so I write dollar first name is equals to, I initialize it to, let us say, Pablo. Put a semicolon. A dollar last name is equals to Pablo Escobar. Okay, and then I say print dollar first name and print last name. Okay, so that's it. So two variables declared. So I save the program file, save the program. Where is my program saved? If I go take my mouse pointer over there, then it will show me that I've saved my program in the C drive, in the WAMP folder, in the www folder, and the name of the file is testing.php. So I know where it is kept. My web server is running. So I type localhost / testing.php, enter. So you can see that it displays me Pablo Escobar. So it displays me first name and last name. So whatever is printed or whatever is echo, let us use echo instead of print. I saved the program, file save, come here and refresh. You can see that it still displays me Pablo Escobar because print and echo does the same thing. Okay, what will happen if I put the variable name in double quotes? What will happen if I put the variable name in double quotes? Remember, it is in double quotes right now. So I save the program, file save, and then I refresh. You can see that it still displays me Pablo Escobar. It's because when you write the name of the variable in double quotes, the string what is there inside the double quotes will not get displayed as it is, but the value of that variable will be substituted in that string. For example, if I write in double quotes, the first name is dollar first name, and now from here to here it is all in the double quotes. So the first name is colon will get displayed as it is, but first name dollar will not get displayed. It will display the value which is stored in that variable. File save, refresh, then you can see the first name is Pablo. So you can see that the other string gets displayed as it is, but it will not display dollar first name, but it will display the value that is there in the variable, which means that when you have a variable name inside double quote string, the value of that variable will get displayed, but not that. Now what will happen if I replace this double quotes by a single quote? What will happen if I replace the double quote by single quote? File save. Now if I come here and refresh, now you can see that it displays me the first name is dollar first name. So it is not going to display the value that is being held by this variable, but it will display that name of the variable as it is, because it will not substitute the value of that variable there. So please remember that when you write it in double quotes, the value of the variable is displayed. Okay, so I hope this is clear, all of you. I save the program, I come here, refresh. There is some problem. Why? Because yeah, I forgot to put this double quotes. Yeah, double quotes are required. So I saved it, I came here, refresh, so you can see the output. Okay, so that is what we studied. We can put variable names in double quotes like that. Then we can echo, we can even echo, we can even print, or we can echo, we can send something like HTML tags also. I can send h1 tag. I can send h1 tag so that it comes to the browser, and whatever comes after that, the browser treats it as h1. Okay, now see what the difference. What I do, I first send to the browser h1, and then after that I send the first name is and last name. So now the first name is and the last name will get displayed big and bold because it is put between the h1 tag, and I put a /h1 here. So I send some HTML tags also to the browser. The browser will receive this, and after this, whatever comes to the browser knows that it has to display it in the h1 tag. H1 tag, you all know it is big and bold and all that. So I save the program, I come here, I refresh. So now you can see the output as the first name is Pablo Escobar and all that. Now let us say I want to display the last name in the next line. So what I do is I say echo BR tag. If I put a BR tag here in between, what will happen is it will first send to the browser h1, then it will send this sentence, and then it will send a BR. And you know that what does a browser do when it receives a BR? Whatever comes after that will be displayed in the new line. So after the BR, last name comes, and that will be displayed in the next line. So if we refresh this, you can see that Escobar came in the next line because there is a BR tag in between. Okay, so now I can send strings to the browser by using the echo command. I can send HTML tags to using the echo command. I can use the echo command. I can use the echo command to send any HTML tag, even images also I can display using this echo command and all that. It means that we can also use the printf function to do it. Now let us see whether the printf function works here. So if I put printf h1, refresh, yeah, you can see that even the printf function can be used to print something or send something from the server to the client's machine. Okay, so the printf function is also there. So we have three different functions which we have studied today. To display something, to send something to the client's machine, first is the print function, the echo function, and the printf function. Yeah, concatenation. Let us say I want to concatenate two strings and send it. I can concatenate it from here to here, and then I can use a dot operator. By the way, remember the dot operator is used for concatenation. So you can see my string starts from here till here it came, and then I want to concatenate that with the variable name. So I write the variable name outside the string. So I save it, I come here, I refresh. You can see that it displays me the first name is Pablo. Okay, the first name is Pablo, it displays me because first name is Pablo. Okay, so concatenation is basically done using the dot operator. So there are a lot of things here. You can just go through that and understand complicated concatenation. Dot operator is used for concatenation. Then you have the program control statements of PHP. The program control statements of PHP means the if-else statement, the looping statements and all that. How do we write the if-else statement? We write the if-else statement same as that in other programming languages. We use the if keyword followed by a bracket, then we write the condition, and then we write the if block. If block starts with an opening of flower bracket. The closing of flower bracket represents the end of the if block. Else, if you want to check one more condition, you write that one condition. You open the else block, write the body of the else block, and then you close the else block. And finally, else block is there without any condition. So what happens is it first checks for this condition. If this condition is true, this will get executed. The remaining two will not get executed, and it will come directly out by executing only this one statement. If this condition is false, it will go to the next condition and check. Else, if hour of the day is equals to 12, then it will execute this. If this condition becomes true, it will execute this part, and it will not execute this nor this. So at any given time, remember, if you have if, else if, else if, else if, else statement, at any given time, you can execute only one block of code. Either the if block will get executed, or the else if block will get executed, or another else if block will get executed, or finally, if none of them will get executed, the else block at least will get executed. It depends upon which condition becomes true. If this condition it becomes true, this part will get executed if this condition is true. Okay, so I don't have to explain you the logic of the if and else if. What we are studying here is the syntax of PHP, because we know how does the if and else if statement basically works. We know how it works. Okay, so what is the syntax? We write if followed by the condition, then we start the flower bracket, close the flower bracket. Else, if I can have one more condition, then I can have flower brackets to write the body of the else if block. Then finally, else, I put a bracket and then I write the body of the else block. Okay, so this is about the conditional statement. Then here there is an example where I check if the user status is equals to logged in, then do all this, else do all this. So basically, you know, we will learn some examples of the if else statement later on in the subject. Then we have, apart from else if, then we have the switch case statement. PHP also has the switch case statement. The switch case statement, you know, that is used when you want to check for multiple conditions. Like switch is a keyword which you have to write, and then you write some variable name here or some expression. Some variable name you write here. In case this variable contains a value pt, then this part will get executed and it will break. You have to write the break statement in each case. Switch, variable name, case pt, execute this block. If this block gets executed, then break. Don't go and check other conditions. Break, directly come out of the switch statement. Okay, so we have case pt, execute this block. If it is not pt, if it is sc, execute this block. If it is not pt nor sc, then execute the default block. Execute the default block. So you know the if else condition, you know the switch case statement. Then let us learn the looping statements of PHP. We have the while loop and the do while loop. How does the while loop works? We write while keyword followed by a condition. As long as the condition is true, the body of the while loop will get executed. The moment the body of the moment the condition becomes false, the execution of the body of the loop will stop. So this body of the loop will continuously execute, continuously. It will execute the body of the loop, goes back here and checks the condition. If the condition is true, again come and execute the body of the loop, again go back and check the condition. If the condition is true, again execute the body of the loop, again go back and check the condition. Now if the condition becomes false, directly come out and start executing the remaining part of the main program. So this is how we'll write the while loop. While some condition, open the flower bracket, write the body of the while loop and close the flower bracket. Similarly, we have the do while loop where we have do the body of the loop and then while comes end with a semicolon. What is the difference between while loop and the do while loop? In the do while loop, the body of the loop will come first and then the condition will come. In the while loop, first the condition will come and then the body of the loop will come. So just look at the syntax of while and do while so that in the next class we can write some examples. Next is a for loop. For loop is same as other programming languages. We'll write for some variable. We write for some variable is equals to 0 till variable is less than 10, variable plus plus. So same thing like C and C++. In the first iteration of the loop, the value of count will be 0. In the next iteration of the loop, the value of count will increment to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, till it becomes 10, and then it will stop the loop. Okay, so this is how the for loop is worked. Okay. Alternate syntax for control statements. Now we will see all this, how to include files, alternate, all that we will see it in the next class. Okay, so if user status logged in, yeah, this is some examples. Alternate syntax for control structures. PHP has an alternative syntax for most of its control statements, namely if while. In this alternate syntax, the colon replaces the opening of colon. Yeah, because you know that if I want to start a for loop, I put a brackets here like this, and whatever is in the flower brackets is the body of the for loop. In the do while loop, I start the flower bracket, I end with whatever is there is the body of the do while loop. In the while loop, I write the condition and then I write the body of the while loop, and whatever comes in the flower brackets is the body of the while loop. So flower brackets actually represent the start of the body, and then the closing flower bracket represents the end of the body of the loop. But I can use the colon. I can use the colon to represent the start of any thing. For example, here you can see that I can write if condition, then I don't start that with a flower bracket, I write a colon there, and then the body of the if condition starts. The if block starts after the start of this colon. And the moment I write else, that is the end of the if block. And then I write colon again to start the if block. I write the colon again to start the else block, and then whatever comes after this is the body of the else block. And then to stop that, I simply write end if to stop the or to represent the end of the if block. Okay, so instead of using flower brackets, I can use colon and I can use end if statement. So mind it, this is the alternate syntax for control statements. We also have a concept called as include files. I can have multiple files written in different files and saved with extension .php, and then I can include all of them in one file. Okay, so we will study about the include files in the next class. Now it is simple. For example, let us say you're writing a PHP file. There is code written in index.php. There is code written in product.php. There is code written in about.php. You want all this code into one file. So what you do is, in the start of the new file, you just say include some file.php, include some file.php, or require. So basically, you can write your code into different files, but you can use that code into a single file by using include keyword. You simply say include some file.php. It includes this code into your current file. So you don't have to write that code once again. If it is already written in some other file, it will be included. It is as if it is part of the same file, Okay. That's it about PHP right now. We will start with functions in the next class. Tomorrow internals will be there, and then after that again I will start. Okay, we will stop here today. Have a nice day, all of you.